welcome to SATV News. This is Nahin Tahir with our headlines. Prime Minister asked authorities to provide award every year to encourage players and organisers for overall progress of sports. Corruption rises at an alarming rate as emergency policies are adopted to benefit the elite instead of competitive policies, reports TIB. Severe cyclonic storm Asani in the Bay of Bengal weakened into cyclonic storm this morning. Rain likely across Bangladesh. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina distributed the National Sports Award to 85 sports organizers and players in recognition to their glorious contribution to the country's sports arena. The Prime Minister joined the award distribution ceremony held at Osmani Memorial Auditorium as chief guest from her official Ganabhavan residence. The Prime Minister asked the authorities concerned to provide the award every year for encouraging players as well as organizers and for overall progress of the sport. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina also said that her government has taken some steps so that every area has at least a playground. On behalf of the Prime Minister, State Ministers for Youth and Sports Muhammad Zahid Hassan Russell handed over the awards among the recipients and addressed the occasion as its chair. Expelled Jubilee leader Ismail Hussain Chowdhury Shamrat today got an interim bail in a case filed for siphoning off around Dhaka 222 crore and channeling it to casinos in Singapore and Malaysia between 2011 and 2018. With today's bail order, there is no legal bar for his release from jail, said his lawyer Ghazi Zillur Rahman. Earlier, kingpin of illegal casino businesses Shamrat was granted bail in money laundering, arms and narcotic cases considering his health condition. Jad al-Assad Muhammad Asifuzzaman of the Special Judge Court 6 of Dhaka granted him bail on grounds that he had been in jail since October 6 of 2019. The judge also directed Shamrat to submit his passport before the court while furnishing bail bonds. Corruption is on the rise at an alarming rate as energy policies are adopted to benefit the elite instead of competitive policy. The people are paying the price. Such an observation was made by Transparency International Bangladesh. The company made the observation at the launch of a research report on Bangladesh coal and LNG-based power challenges of good governance and ways to overcome. The study showed that corruption of Dhaka 390 crore has taken place in Borishal, Makhali and Matabari power projects. The TIB also claimed that the corruption was due to irregularities in the land purchase and land acquisition. At the same time, the executive director of the company said that the dependency of coal and LNG-based power projects in Bangladesh is disappointing at a time when the world is leaning towards renewable energy to protect the environment. TIB also argues that renewable energy needs to be targeted to reduce SDG targets and harmful carbon emissions. The government has announced 2 public packages for Hajj this year. The least expensive one will cost a pilgrim of Dhaka 4,62,150 and the other one Dhaka 5,27,340. State Minister for Religions Affairs Muhammad Faridul Haq Khan disclosed the packages at a media call on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Hajj Agencies Associations of Bangladesh said the private packages would be announced on Thursday. As many as 57,585 Bangladeshis will be performing Hajj this year. Among them, 4,000 will be going through the government packages and 53,585 through the private ones. Hajj, the most important pilgrimage for Muslims, is expected to begin on July 9th this year, subject to sighting of the moon. Saudi Arabia recently announced that 1 million people will be able to perform Hajj this year. Around 85% of them are from different parts of the world, and the rest are from the kingdom. Asani, the severe cyclonic storm in the Bay of Bengal, weakened into a cyclonic storm on Wednesday morning. The cyclonic storm moved northwesterly westwards in the west central bay and adjoining areas this morning. It is likely to move in the northwesterly or northerly direction and weaken gradually into a deep depression in the next 24 hours, said Met Office Special Bulletin. Maximum sustained wind speed within 54 kilometers of the cyclone center is about 62 kilometers per hour, rising to 88 kilometers per hour in gusts or squalls. Sea will remain very rough near the cyclone zone. Maritime ports of Chattogram, Cox's Bazar, Bangla and Paira have been advised to hoist distant warning signal number 2. All fishing boats and trawlers over the North Bay and in the deep sea have been advised to remain close to the coast and proceed with caution. They have also been advised not to venture into the deep sea. Meanwhile, Patuakhali Met Office said they have recorded 20.4 mm rain between 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. today. The rain may continue for a few days more. Viewers, we are taking a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back, and you're watching SATV News. Now news from abroad. Now we are bringing the international stories update. The United Nations Assembly on Tuesday elected the Czech Republic to its Human Rights Council, replacing Russia. Russia was suspended from the council last month, 2 years into 3 years term over its invasion of Ukraine and the allegation of horrific human rights violation. Russia was suspended from the council last month, 2 years into 3 years term over its invasion of Ukraine and allegation of the horrific human rights violation. The Czech Republic will complete that period on the council instead, although it cannot make legally binding decision. Receiving 157 votes in favor while 23 countries abstain, the Czech Republic will start its term immediately. Sri Lankan's president has urged people to reject what he called attempts to foment racial and religious disharmony as violence broke out in many parts of the country over the government's handling of a devastating economic crisis. Violent street protests have killed 8 people this week, and even the resignation of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's elder brother as prime minister and a curfew have failed to douse public anger. The government has ordered troops to shoot at everyone demanding public property or threatening lives. Sri Lankans have blamed the Rajapaksa's plan for the economic meltdown that has left the country with only about $50 million in a reserve, stalling most imports and leading to massive shortages of fuel, cooking gas and other essentials. However, protesters set the family's ancestral home in the south on fire earlier in the week. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is in London to meet his elder brother and PMLN Supremo Nawaz Sharif, with a big decision reportedly on the card. The Prime Minister, along with his delegation, touched down in London at Gatwick Airport's South Terminal early Wednesday morning. According to sources, Nawaz Sharif has to consult the party leadership over some important issue. He has reservation over the PMLN is expected to make a big decision, which is why he rejected the proposal to have an online meeting. Speaking to media in London, Nawaz said he is looking forward to meeting Shehbaz Sharif and others accompanying him. Sources said that several federal ministers, including Ahsan Iqbal, Maryam Aurangzeb, Khaja Shad Rafiq, Khwaja Asif and Karimur Dastagir are accompanying Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif on the trip. Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh has been shot while reporting on a raid by Israeli security forces in the occupied West Bank city of Jenin. Mia reports Abu Akleh, 51, was shot deliberately and in cold blood by the Israeli troops. Another reporter was shot and wounded. The Israeli military denied that its force targeted journalists. It was looking into the possibility that they were hit by Palestinian gunmen during an exchange of fire. Israel Foreign Minister Yair Lapidi described Abu Akhlaq's death as sad and said it had offered to carry out a joint investigation with the Palestinian Authority. In Afghanistan, a new rule announced by the Taliban has led to protests. Taking to the streets on Tuesday, women in the country protested recent restriction imposed by the administration. This follows a ruling made by the Taliban supreme leader on Saturday decreeing the Afghan women must cover their faces. The move signals an escalation in restrictions on women in public and comes amid growing backlash from many Afghans and the international community. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has said he would reserve Twitter's ban on former U.S. President Donald Trump if he completes his takeover bid. Speaking virtually Tuesday at a car conference organized by the Financial Times, Musk called the ban a mistake that alienated the country. However, Twitter permanently banned Trump in January 2021 over repeated rule violation. Before ending, we go through the headlines again. Prime Minister asked authorities to provide an award every year to encourage players and organizers for overall progress of sport. Corruption rises at an alarming rate as energy policies are adopted to benefit the elite instead of the competitive policies, reports TIB. Severe cyclonic storm Asani in the Bay of Bengal weakened into a cyclonic storm this morning, rain likely across Bangladesh. You're up to date with our top stories so far here on SATV, and to know the latest in SATV news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with us.